Hey Tech Gurus, it is Miss Newshart with your next Code.org lesson. Alright, so I'm going to be very honest with you. This is a pretty tricky lesson, so I want you guys just to do your best, okay? Um, this is generally one of the ones that we work on for a couple days together in class, so I want you to try your best, okay? That's all I ask. This week we are working on lesson 12, nested loops in B. So we talked about a loop which helps you repeat code while making your code shorter. So instead of dragging out 5 move forward blocks, you can put a repeat block or a loop with one move forward block in it, and you can tell it how many times to repeat that action. This time we are going to be doing nested loops, or as I call it sometimes, a loop within a loop. So you're going to see what I mean by that in just a moment. So let's get started. So this is going to be great. So we also have a new block down here called get nectar. So when you come to a block with a flower on it, you also need to add the get nectar to it so you can collect that flower. Okay? So we're going to have the B move forward. He'll move forward and then get nectar, and then move forward and get nectar. So see how I'm not using a loop, not anything, just see how complicated that is. It's a lot of steps. So let's run it and make sure it's right. Fabulous. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. And now we have 3 sides to do. So we're going to do this with no loops. So we'll see what code looks like with a loop and without a loop. We'll do it 2 ways. So first we're going to have him move forward, then move forward and get nectar, then move forward, get nectar, because it's twice. So move forward, get nectar, move forward, get nectar. Then he needs to turn right, and you're going to repeat that whole thing again. Okay? So, or we could do this and make it a little bit simpler. So we'd repeat that 1 times, 2 times. So the trick is you would want it inside. Let's double check. Okay, so see how I did that? So instead of coding everything multiple times, I did 1 side and then repeated it. Oh, except I should have changed it to 3. Let's try this. Perfect. So now this is the video you're going to want to watch. You might honestly want to watch it twice because you're going to learn how to do a loop within a loop. Or a nested loops. Same concept, just depends on who you're talking to. But make sure you watch this video at least once. Honestly, I would suggest watching it twice. I had to watch it a couple times, and I'm a teacher. So just make sure you really pay attention to this video and listen to what it's saying. So this is your first kind of foray, or like seeing a nested loop for the first time. So this is what it's going to look like. Excuse me. So it's going to be, so for example, we're doing the exact same pattern as before, but now instead of having move forward, get nectar twice, they put a loop around it. Okay, so you would move forward, get nectar 2 times, then turn right. And then you would repeat that 3 times. So it just shortens things up even more. Okay, so you're going to look closely at the nested loop below and tell me what happens when you click run. Please don't choose I don't know. You do know. Alright, so moving on. Okay, so this time help the bee collect all of the nectar using as few blocks as possible. So the first thing I'm going to look at is there are 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides. So I know that I'm going to have an outside loop that I need to repeat 4 times. So that's the beginning. So then, now knowing that, I'm going to code just 1 side, and I can put that in a loop. Okay? So I know that I need to move forward, collect, get nectar, move forward, get nectar, move forward, get nectar, and then turn right. So let's see if I can do that. Move forward, get nectar, move forward, oops, get nectar, move forward. So already you see up here that I'm out of space. So what we can do is, since we know that we need to move forward 3 times and move forward, get nectar 3 times, we can do this. Move forward, get nectar, but put a repeat loop, a repeat block around it. And then we need to repeat that how many times per side. So on just this side alone, we need to repeat that once, twice, 3 times. Okay? And then you need to, at the very end, you need to turn right. Okay, so this is different than our last one. So you'll put that all inside. Okay, so here, so if you want to check it, that is actually it would be a really great idea. So you might want to code just 1 side to make sure it makes sense. Okay, so now we know we've got 1 side correct. So we can put it in our second repeat block and nest those loops. And then we'll run it. Awesome. Okay, so this is tricky. You guys got this. Okay, so now we're doing it with a zombie. So we use the zombie and we want him to get to the flower. So I tend to think of this as sides. Okay, so I think of side 1, side 2, side 3. Okay, so that's how I tend to break this up. All right, so looking at them, each side is the same length. So you need to move 1, 2, 3. So let's code 1 side at a time. So we know that our friend needs to move forward 3 times. Right? So let's run that and see where he ends up. Okay, so now that we know that he's there, which way do we need him to turn? We need him to turn right or left. Yep, he's got to turn left. So that's going to go outside the block, because if you put it inside the block, he's going to turn every time he moves forward. So let's watch and let's see what he does. So see, it almost would try to make a square. So you need to make sure that this turn left goes outside the block, because you want him to go forward 3 times, then turn left. So the order of this stuff really does matter. Okay, and then after that, we know this, so this is 1 side done. So then you're going to put all of that in another repeat block or in another loop. Attach it, and you need it to repeat 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. So you're going to click on this, type in 3, and then we'll run it. So like I said a bunch of times, make sure that you code 1 side at a time. That will really, really help you. So let's break it down. Maybe we'll do the next 2 together. So let's break this down. So we have 1 side, 2 sides, and 3 sides. Okay? So, excuse me, again, we're trying to get this zombie to the sunflower. And if you look, all three sides are the same length. So let's code just this first side. So he needs to move 1 space, 2 spaces, 3. So we need to move forward. But if you look, we only have 5 blocks. So we're going to use a loop and have it move forward 3 times. Okay? So let's run that and see where our zombie ends up. So now check it out. Which way does he need to turn? Does he need to go right or left? And it is kind of backwards, because if you look at which way he's not facing the same direction we are. So that's also something you need to take into account, is which way is he facing. I actually have my younger kids turn their bodies to face the same way and figure out which way is right and which way is left. Okay, so right would be towards the left. His right would be your left, if that makes sense. So it's backwards. All right, so he would need to turn right. And then so that's one side coded all together. So now, knowing that we have one side done, we can tell it to repeat again a second time and a third time. So to do that, we would put it in another loop. You got it. And then because we have 3 sides, we want it to repeat 3 times. Okay. So just like this is our typical stair. So I break it down into 1 stair at a time. So if you look at it like a giant staircase, it's step, step. So you do 1 staircase at a time. Okay. So to do that, it's just move forward, turn, move forward, turn, and then you would repeat all of that. Okay. So I want you to try it. Let's check out. So this is the exact same thing as we did before. If you look, you have 1 side, 2 side, 3 sides. So those 3 sides are all the same, and then these 2 sides down here are the same size also. So you're actually going to have 2 different sets of loops. Okay? So take your time, think about each side as on its own. Okay? So you'll do these outsides, and then you'll do these shorter ones separately. If you want to challenge yourself, go for it. But if you want to skip the challenge, that's totally fine. All right, so then this one is pretty simple, but you need to move all the way forward, and then you need to add a separate loop to make honey. So this is a separate one. So when you see down here where there's that honeycomb, you need to use the make honey block. All right, so same concept as get nectar, just different block. And now you're going to make all of the honey using your loops. All right, and then this one is going to give you a code, gives you the code. Then you need to decide how much honey it will collect altogether when you hit run. All right, so you need to make a choice before you hit run, okay? All right, you guys, so this is pretty tricky. I want you to try your best. If you have trouble, please, please, please message me on Dojo. I can send you a video. We can set up a Zoom call so I can walk you through some of this stuff. I am absolutely here to help. Make sure that you please, please, please reach out to me. And I will talk to you guys soon. Do your best. Good luck. Happy coding.